Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. Today we are doing the long-awaited tier 3 equipment tier list. We've done a tier 1, we've done a tier 2, and now we're finally doing a tier 3. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one. So we're going to get into this. We've got all tier 3 equipment here right now. Again, I will link this below if you want to have a go yourself. Again, I'm going to rate these on how good I think the tier 3 items are. Now, I'm mainly comparing them to the other tier 3 items. Obviously, tier 3 items are meant to be the best items in the game. So a lot of them will probably be quite high up. However, there's some that I don't know, that I don't really care about, or aren't that important, etc. And those will go further down the list. And of course there are some that I use in the game, but I still don't think are that much of an upgrade from their predecessor. So we're going to be basing it on kind of everything put together. I'll explain every single item, and at the end, if we need to rearrange anything, we will. So without further ado, let's get into this. Right, so the first item we are going to be talking about is the tier 3 spirit box. Now, the tier 3 spirit box is great. You tend to pretty much always get a response on it when you are nearish the ghost. If you're in the ghost room, you tend to get a response in it. It's got quite a big range. Honestly, though, it's good. Is it much of an upgrade from the tier 2? Doesn't really feel like it. I don't feel any monumental relief when I unlock this. So I think I'm actually going to kind of put it in the middle here. It's kind of okay. It does its job. It's not really much of an upgrade. I don't feel like I can put it anywhere any higher up than a B tier. Yeah, it's good. It does its job. The range is good. Doesn't really feel like a huge change. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 torch. Now, I don't actually use this item very often because I use the tier 2 headgear as my torch. However, as a torch, when I do use it, I'm like, damn, I can see. I can really see. And it is a pretty decent upgrade from the tier 2. It's nothing mad. Again, I think I'm going to have to just put it in B tier. It is, don't get me wrong, it's a great torch. I don't tend to use it because it takes up an inventory slot, and I want to leave inventory slots for other things. So yeah, I don't really use it ever, so I can't obviously put it in S tier or really A tier, but as an item it is good. It's got a huge radius. When you turn it on, you can see pretty much through the entirety of Tanglewood when you walk in. So it is really good as a torch. I don't think I can put it above B tier. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 motion sensor. Now, I do use this in my main loadout. However, I'm not really that bothered about using a tier 2. I'm going to put an A tier because it is a good item. I'm not that excited when I unlock a tier 3 motion sensor. It is cool in that you can see the ghost. If it walks past the motion sensor, it will give 2 beeps, and it will show the direction of where the ghost is. So if you're doing a banshee test, for example, and you're standing far away from the room, you'll see it beep in front of you where closest to the ghost room, and then as it walks towards you, it will do a beep towards you as well. So you'll see it literally wander on the motion sensor, and for that reason it is good. And of course it's got this big circular radius on it, which is good as well. And yeah, in general, I do actually use this in my main loadout, so I'm going to put it in A tier, but I don't think it's anything crazy. And if I didn't have it, it wouldn't be game changing for me. I'm happy to use a tier 2. You can kind of do everything you need to with the tier 2 as well, but I do like the directional monitoring on it, so I'm going to put it on A. The next item we're going to be talking about is the dots projector, the tier 3. This item is amazing. It's going straight in S tier. I really like the tier 3 dots. Obviously, I play a lot of no evidence, so this thing isn't relevant then. But when I am playing evidence games, Insanity or Nightmare, or anything below, it is amazing. The range is huge. You can cover the entire room. The dots are really close to each other, so it's really easy to see the ghost's full body on the dots. I also like how it swivels, and then I don't actually allow it to swivel. I prefer to pause it in the perfect spot where I'm covering the most area, and I love that because I just place it on a wall, about halfway up a wall in a room, let it swivel, and then I click it again. And if some people might not know this, but you can click it again to pause it in the position it's currently in. So that's what I always do, and I'm not gonna lie, it is amazing. It's just the best version of dots. It's way better than the tier 2, obviously way better than the tier 1, and yeah, definite S tier. The next item we're going to be talking about is the video camera. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna put this in C tier. I don't actually think the tier 3 video camera is that really that good. It's huge. It almost gets in the way a bit when you are kind of doing tests. Now, I do like how the viewfinder is quite high up, so you can do like a Goryo test, for example, where you stand outside of the ghost room and you hold the camera and you have dots in on the room, and you can see the ghost if it walks through the dots on the camera, but not in person. It is pretty good for that, to be fair, because the viewfinder is above, so you've got like the screen above and then the room below, and you can kind of see for that reason. But to be honest with you, it's not that huge of an upgrade from the tier 2. I actually think the tier 2 is easier to see orbs on, than the tier 3. The tier 3's got like this just like white and black kind of thing. The tier 2 seems easier to see the orbs personally. So yeah, I think to be honest, it's an all right upgrade, but it's nothing crazy. I think it has to be our first C tier item. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 book, and again, I mean, it's got a bigger range than the tier 2. And that's it, really. I mean, I guess it's probably more likely to get written in. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to have to put it on C tier as well. Like, it does its job, don't get me wrong. The radius is decent, but it's not game-changing. I don't feel excitement when I unlock it, really. Obviously, I've prestiged a few times, so I've unlocked this quite a few times now, and it don't feel like that great. It doesn't feel that amazing unlocking it, so I'm going to be sticking that in C tier. It does its job, but it's nothing astounding. So, yeah. C tier item. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 headgear. Now, a lot of people think this is really cool. I'm actually going to put this in C tier as well. A lot of people think the tier 3 headgear is really good. Now, the only time when this is really, like, I really use it is on APOC 3 if I'm in a really dark map. That's pretty much it. Because you can't use torches, and this isn't technically a torch. So you can actually use it to see when you're playing game modes without a breaker. So for that reason, it is good, but that's like a very niche thing. Like, other than that, if you're playing amateur, intermediate, professional, nightmare, insanity, etc., it's not actually that. I'd rather use the tier 2. I never use the tier 3 in that situation. Obviously, and no evidence. If you're playing APOC, that's the only time when I'd actually use that. Other than that, I don't. So yeah. C tier item. It is cool. The night vision is cool. Don't get me wrong. The vision's a little bit like squeezed though, and I don't really like that. You're slightly more zoomed in. So yeah, C tier for those reasons. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 incense. Now, a lot of people like this, but I'm not going to lie. I almost never have a situation. In fact, I never have a situation where I use this. It's going in C tier. If not, D tier for tier 3. I'd never have a reason to use this. Now, a lot of people ask why I use tier 2 over tier 3. The reason I don't use tier 3, imagine you're hiding in a spot, right? And the ghost can walk around the corner, and if it sees you, then, you want to incense it. You want to not die. So you're getting hunted. It's walking around a corner. You're in a hiding spot. It sees you. You incense it. Now, don't get me wrong. The incense is long. I believe it's 7 seconds. I'm pretty sure standard. But I can't lie, you incense it and the ghost stops there, and it's, okay, don't get me wrong, decent for pictures, but other than that, as soon as that incense runs out, if you don't find another hiding spot, as soon as that incense runs out, it will just see you instantly and kill you. And I've been in situations before where this has happened to me. For example, I'm hiding in like a corner behind like a cabinet, and there's only a slight view where the ghost can see me. It walks around the corner. It randomly decides to walk in front of me. I incense it, and then I'm like, oh my word, there's no other hiding spots nearby. I run for my life. By the end of the smudge, it sees me, it kills me. So I prefer using the tier 2 because the tier 2 actually makes the ghost wander away a little bit. So you've got a more likelihood of it not finding you again. So yeah, for that reason, I really don't ever use tier 3. Even on APOC 3, I don't use tier 3. In fact, on APOC 3, I use tier 1. So yeah, that's going to have to be a C tier. I actually have no reason to ever use tier 3. It's almost a D tier, to be honest, for me. But we're going to stick it in C tier. I might move it later. Next, we have the tier 3 salt. Again, there's pretty much, apart from APOC 3, no reason I'd ever use this, and therefore I'm going to also stick it in C tier. I might move it down by the time we got to the end of the video, but C tier for this. Tier 3 salt I pretty much never use. The reason being, and a lot of people have questions about this as well, why I don't use the tier 3. It actually slows down the ghost, which you might think, oh, that's a good thing, that means you can get away. Now, that's true. However, if you're doing a game like any game mode above professional, this is completely gets in the way in a way. Because imagine, right, you're getting a hunt and you're trying to listen to the speed of the ghost. It's fast and then it slows down and then it goes faster again. You might think, oh, it's a Reiju. It was faster on electronics, then it slowed down away from electronics, and then it went near electronics and sped up again. Or it's a Hantu. It was fast and then it slowed down in the salt, and then oh well, you might think it was in the warm when it was actually the salt, and then it went to a cold room again and it sped up. And that can be deceiving if you're hiding and you're listening to the ghost. So for that reason, I actually prefer tier 2 because it doesn't change the speed of the ghost and you still get 3 salts. If you got 4 salts, I'd be like, fair, probably tier 3 would be better. But in general, I don't really use it. So yeah, that's going to be in C tier. Honestly, reviewing this, I'm almost tempted to move these 2 up. Now I'm going to do a bit of rearranging because I already see where I can probably move some items. So stay tuned for that. So the next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 lighter. I'm going to put it in B tier. Like it lasts longer than the tier 2. I've actually never ran out of lighter with the tier 2. So I don't even feel like it's a good lighter. Like it illuminates a tiny bit. It's not like getting a torch. It's all right. It does its job. It lasts longer than the other ones. You're probably thinking, why are you not putting this in C tier with the camera and the book? Well, I am actually, you know what? I'm going to move them now, actually. I'm actually going to move the video camera and the book to B tier. Like, I feel like these are all pretty much on the same wavelength. These are definitely below, because I do use all these in my main loadout, apart from the torch, to be fair. Ooh, I might move the torch down as well. Yeah, I'm going to move the torch down as well. I can already see where I want to change this. Yeah, I'm going to keep put the torch in C tier because these are all items that I don't really ever use. So, don't get me wrong, the torch is good, but it's not crazy. I'm going to put that in C tier. Little mini mid video rearrange. But yeah, this is all making more sense. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 camera. Now, I always use the tier 3 camera. There's no reason why you wouldn't. It's literally just the difference between the tier 3 camera and the tier 2 camera is it just takes photos faster. And now, in situations where you do need to get photos quick and get out, it can be quite clutch. I'm actually going to put it in A tier. I really do like the tier 3 camera. I am excited when I unlock it. It means that you save, like if you're taking 9 pictures of salt, for example, it will save like a solid maybe like 7 seconds where you could have been getting hunted. So yeah, for that reason, I'm going to put it in A tier. You can obviously see quite easily on it. And if you want to instantly switch to an instance, if you take a picture and then you get hunted, it's actually really quick at switching off as well to switch to another item compared to the other ones. So yeah, that's going to be an A tier. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 Crucifix. Now, I'm actually going to put this, because I don't use this apart from on APOC 3. I'm going to put this in C tier. I don't use the tier 3 Crucifix pretty much ever apart from APOC 3. On APOC 3, you want the biggest Crucifix radius possible. Now, the problem with the tier 3 Crucifix is it's actually got such a big range that, one, it can be hard to do a demon test if you're trying to cover a small room in a small map. It can be very hard because the radius is actually too big to cover like just the edge of the room. Because obviously the demons have a bigger range with the Crucifix. I think it's 50% bigger range. So you want to do a Crucifix test. This can actually be too big. You might not actually be able to do the test because there's not enough room to put it far enough away from the ghost room. Also, there have been multiple times where I've been on nightmare mode and I've had the Crucifix down. I've forgotten that it's there. Then I've gone and used the cursed object and I've forgotten it's there. And this Crucifix does block the cursed objects being used for a hunt. So yeah, it can be really annoying. Like, why would you need that? Like, if you use the cursed object, you want it to hunt. Like, why else are you using the cursed object? You know, you probably want it to hunt. So yeah, for that reason, tier 3 Crucifix I don't really use. Also, if you're doing no evidence or insanity or nightmare, to be fair, and you need to do an Oreo test, this thing actually isn't good, because if you've got firelights down and the Crucifix range is so big, let's say, and I try to explain this in my streams a lot, but let's say the Crucifix range is this big, right? Like pretty much the size of the screen. And the firelights are that big, the radius is that big. If the ghost hunts in that gap, in that radius gap, and it sets off the Crucifix, but the firelights are still on, then it can be a false Oreo test, because it's hunted. You've been like, right, it hasn't blown out the firelights, but it's tried to hunt me. When the Crucifix is in between all the firelights, it can't be an Oreo. However, it probably could have been an Oreo because it could have hunted in that little gap. There is a chance. And therefore, I prefer using the tier 2 because the tier 2 Crucifix is pretty much the same range as the Firelights. So it's a very, very accurate way of getting an Oreo test. And I've never actually had a false Oreo test with the tier 2 Crucifix. Tier 3 is possible. The next item we're going to be talking about is everyone's favorite item, the tier 3 sound sensor. I've used this like once. I actually used it yesterday in an APOC game. It actually had no impact on my game. I never used it. Like, guys, it's a sound sensor. I'm sorry. I'd love to put it in S tier, but it is a sound sensor at the end of the day. Every sound sensor I have done on the tier 1, 2, and 3 equipment tier list has gone in D tier. This thing is just ass. I'm sorry. It doesn't do anything. I mean, it does. The only reason, obviously, that it's useful is if you're with friends and you're trying to listen to the ghosts at speeds when they're getting hunted. Other than that, it's pretty much pointless. The other thing you can use it for is you put it in the ghost room, you leave it, and then you can listen for like a Yuri door slam or like a Poltiplosion or something. That's pretty much like the only use case. So yeah, I like never use this. It has to be D tier, obviously. Next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 UV torch. I actually, now, controversially, I prefer this to the tier 2. I really like this item. It's going to go in B tier, like these items. The tier 3 UV, I actually prefer because it's got a longer range on it. So when you pointed it from like the other side of the room, you'll see the handprint. So you don't even have to get close. So like if you're doing like a quick scan, you know, you can see if it's left a handprint from on a window on the other side of the room. Also, the handprints last longer, and they last so long that you can just quickly run away, grab your camera, run back, and it's probably still going to be there, so you might have to go pick it up again. And for that reason, I actually prefer it to the tier 2. You have to get quite close to like the window or the door for the tier 2 to work. I believe if you're on VR, the tier 2 is meant to be quite good because it like hangs from you and it still is lit when you're walking around. But I prefer the tier 3. I don't play VR. Tier 3 UV, solid item. The next item we're going to be talking about is going to be the next S tier item. We have the tier 3 EMF reader. This thing is so good. Oh my words. Now let me explain how it works because some of you probably don't get it. There are 3. You can get 3 readings on this. There's little bars on the top with 5 lines. If all 5 are black, lit black, then it means that you're getting an EMF level 5. It also tells you the direction as to where the item is. That's just me sense. So the amount of times where I've been like, I don't know what door it just touched. I need a photo of for an interaction. I pick up the EMF. It tells me exactly what door it is. I go take a picture. It's class. Obviously, you can get multiple readings at the same time. So it just gives you loads more photo opportunities if you don't know what's been interacted with. This thing is just so much better than the tier 2 version and is by far one of the best tier 3 items. Easy S tier. Love it. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 tripods. I mean, it's a tripod. The only difference between this and the tier 2 is it doesn't get knocked over. C tier. Like, that's it. It does rotate. If it rotated on the Y-axis as well, I would actually put this in probably B tier. So you could look up and down. But not going to lie, the only difference is that it doesn't fall over. That's it. And I'm not going to lie, I don't particularly care. It's not needed. It's not essential to have a tripod out. So that is also going in C tier. It's even close to being D tier, but we'll keep it in C. Right, well, we'll be fair. It's all right. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3. I mean, I guess you call it sanity meds, but we call it adrenaline sometimes. This thing, I mean, it's good. I guess I actually don't really use it to get away from the ghost, which is kind of what it's intended for. But there are situations where it can be useful. I'm actually going to put it in B tier. I always do use this if I've got it unlocked. So I will always bring it into every investigation. Obviously, in APOC 3, you can't use these. But if you're playing any normal game modes, then yeah, it's good. I mean, you get a speed boost for a while. When I say speed boost, you just don't run out of stamina for a little bit. So there can be situations where that can be usable. I tend to not really take I don't really tend to take sanity meds into the map. I tend to take them in the truck, but they give you more sanity. They also give you, obviously, that lack of running out of sprint, which is kind of cool. So yeah, B tier. Sort of B tier. Now, the tier 3 thermometer. Another S tier item, guys. I love unlocking this thing. I'm not going to lie. I use the thermometer to find the room, and you should do this as well. If you're playing any normal game modes, the thermometer is the best way to find the room. The ghost room is always colder than all the other rooms. This thing is so good. It's actually, I find, more accurate than the tier 2. Like, the range of which the temperature fluctuates is more precise. I love unlocking this thing. It is easily close, probably top 2 best items in the game. I absolutely love it. It updates faster than the tier 2. If you didn't know, you can hold down your button, your use button, and then it will constantly change. No matter depending on where you are. Obviously, it will change temperatures. If you walk into the ghost room, it will go down. You don't have to constantly like click it every time you enter a room. Really important. A lot of people don't know that. But yeah, this item's amazing. I absolutely love unlocking this thing, and it is the best version of the thermometer by far. So yeah. Love it. The next item we're going to be talking about is the tier 3 parabolic. Now, I told you just now that the tier 3 thermometer is top 2 probably best items in the game. This, my friends, is also top 2, potentially the best item in the game. The tier 3 parabolic is game changing. It is so good. Not only is it better than the tier 2 because it can sense on multiple floors? So it can sense the floor above you, your floor, and the floor below you for like ghost sounds or whispers or whatever, or interactions. But also, it has a little dot showing you where the sound was, how far away it was, and it shows the ghost moving around. Like it will update live where the sounds are coming from. It's so good. Oh my words. If you're playing any big map, this is literally the way to find the room as well. This thing is so good. I believe it's got the same range as the tier 2. So, you know, it's not insanely better in that way, but every other way, it's so good. Being able to see where the ghost is. There have been times where you can tell where the ghost has changed rooms because of all the way the whisper is. You can find the ghost room on big maps easily with it. And you can get Banshee Scream and stand on a different floor. It's just so good. Absolutely amazing. You can get away from the ghost with it as well. If you see the ghost coming, you know where to hide, when to hide and when not to hide. You can also do yokai tests with it. See how close it is to you. See if it senses you and if it changes direction. Oh my words. I could just go on for days about this. I love the tier 3 para. Unbelievable item. And finally, we have the tier 3 candle. I think this is now, I in my last tier list video, I said the tier 2 was really good. I think I put it quite high. I've recently been trialing using the tier 3 candle. And although I don't think it gets blown out as frequently as the tier 2 when you're doing like an Oreo test, the fact that it doesn't run out, there are so many situations where I've needed that. It never runs out. And for that reason, it's definitely an A tier. When you're playing APOC 3, this is needed. If you have blowout of firelight, if you don't have if you have a candle that does eventually blow out, that can be so hard to get. The tier 3 candle is amazing. Although it is obviously a bit harder to blow out, I found, than the other versions of it. The fact that it lasts all game and you never have to worry about the ghost changing rooms and having to move the candle rounds and everything, it's class for that. And it does have pretty good luminosity as well. So for that reason, I'm going to put that in A tier by the camera and the motion sensor. So now let's do a quick review of where everything is. I actually think, because of that rearrange in the middle of the video, I actually think everything is in a solid spot here. Well, these items, meh. These items are pretty good. These items are really good. And these items are insane. And of course, the sound sensor in D tier. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But yeah, overall, this is my tier 3 tier list. The next video I'm going to be doing is an all items tier list. So I'm going to be going through every single item all together in one go. So that will be the next version of this. But in terms of tier 3s, this is where it all stands. So let me know what you think, guys. If you don't agree with what I've been saying, or if you've got anything that I might have missed, let me know in the comments section below. Feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. We've recently hit 14k subs. Thank you all. And yeah, if you ever want to see me play this, I'm live almost every single day. So feel free to come join and say hi. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later. Goodbye.